Hello and welcome to this presentation of SAP Business One with a specific focus today on the sales accounts receivable process. What we'll do is have a look today at sales quotations, sales orders, the AR invoicing with a brief review of the sales reporting in SAP Business One. Now it's important to note that within SAP Business One we can follow a very specific process of creating a sales quotation, which is then copied to a sales order, a delivery, and an AR invoice. Or alternatively, I can simply step in and do, for an example, an invoice without the preceding documentation. SAP Business One gives you the flexibility to configure the system either to follow a specific process of a quotation into an order, to a delivery, an AR invoice, or to follow your own process where, for example, you may only do a sales order, an AR invoice, or just an AR invoice. The beauty of this is that you, as an organization, can decide on which process suits you the best, and you can configure SAP Business One accordingly. For the sake of this presentation though, let's start with the sales quotation. So I'm going to head over to the Sales AR module within SAP Business One and open up the sales quotation form. What we see in front of us now is the default SAP Business One sales quotation form. To call up the customer who I'm going to quote, I can click on the button next to the vendor data field. This button will bring up a list of customers. I could do a wildcard search or simply start by typing in part of the name and calling up that particular customer. I'm going to use the button, add my customer. It will import all of the data from Business Partner Master Data, which I can check by clicking on this orange arrow, which will take me to the Business Partner Master Data for this particular business partner. I can see their contact persons, addresses, payment terms, payment run, accounting, properties, remarks, and attachments that are related to this business partner. I can type in my customer reference number, whatever it may be. So the currency for this document, I can choose will it be a local currency, a system currency, or the currency that the business partner operates in. I can see this business partner has multiple currencies, and I can choose which one would I like to use. On the right, I can see my document number, the status of the document, the posting date, the document date, and the date until this document is valid. Now, let's go in and choose an item or a range of items for a quotation. I'm going to select my item and select quantity of 12. Our sales employee will be James Chan. Gonna get prompted with the window, do I want to update existing rows? Just so it updates all of the contact informations. I can see that my total is calculated automatically, and I can obviously do things like subtotals. For example, I can put in discounts, I can put freight. So there we have our initial quotation. I have a number of fields available to me. I have the item number, the quantity, the unit price. I can put in some remarks for this specific item. I have the unit of measurement code, etc. Now if I want to reduce the number of fields or increase the number of fields that I have available to me, if I've got permission to do so, I can simply click on the table format field, and I can see here a number of additional fields that I have available to me. So let's say, for example, I want to add in the commission percentage. I go through all of the different fields, find commission percentage, check it so it's visible, simply click on OK. And I can see that my commission percentage was added successfully. This is a very simple way of allowing me to add to the columns or reduce the number of columns in this quotation. What I'll do now is I'll add my remarks, whatever they may be. So these are remarks, and simply add my quotation. The previous record arrow will take me back to that quotation. Now obviously, if I'd like to, I can directly from within the system PDF the document by using this button in the toolbar, and then I can fax or email that quotation directly to my customer, and of course that quotation and the PDF can be in the format that I choose, using something like the SAP Business One Crystal Reports for that document. Let's go in this quotation, and what we'll do is we'll right click on this quotation and we'll have a look at some of the other informations available to us. I can create an activity against this quotation, which will attach the quotation to the activity. Now the reason to do this is this might be a quote and I want to send it to my manager. I can create an activity and SAP Business One will automatically then attach this quotation as an attached document or a linked document, and then the activity can be assigned to my manager and it will appear in his inbox. Let's go ahead now and we'll copy this sales quotation into a sales order. So I simply go on the bottom, click on the copy to button, and I can see that I'm not limited to just copying this sales quotation data into a sales order. If my company doesn't have a workflow like that, I can copy it directly to any document that is related to sales. So it can go into a sales order, a delivery, an AR invoice, or a reserve invoice. In this case, since we want to go through the regular workflow, we're going to go and copy everything into a sales order. What I now have is the ability to add my delivery date. I'm going to put delivery date to be tomorrow. I can change anything in this, but for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to leave everything the same. As we can see in the remarks field, our remarks from the quotation were copied, and it was added that this document is based on a sales quotation with the number of 1,197. I'm going to go to add, and it's going to ask me, do I want to update the existing table rows with the new delivery date? The reason for that question is that I can't have the different delivery date per row in the system. If I so wish, I'm just going to say yes. Now, of course, if I've got permission to do so, I can change. So let's say, for example, I can change the date, I can change the price, I can do any of that within the system. I've got the flexibility, and I can also add some additional nodes, and then as I add that, that will become the sales order in the system. If I go to the previous record, we can see our sales order was created successfully. What I can see is I've gone from a quotation to a sales order, and now again I can copy that to an AR invoice inside the system by simply clicking into the copy to button and heading over to the AR invoice. So what we've demonstrated there is the ability to start with a quotation, copy that through with some changes to a sales order, and again copy that through to an AR invoice. Of course, let's not forget there's other information available. If I'm on this particular AR invoice, for example, and I add it, it's going to tell me that I can change this document after it's been created. Head over back to our previous record, right clicking on this AR invoice. I get access to my gross profit, my volume and weight calculations, my packaging, related activities, and a very nice function called the relationship map. So let's click on that, and what this now shows me is that I've started with a quotation, it became an order, and then it became an AR invoice. If I now want to drill down to that original quotation, I simply double click on that item, and now I'm down to the original quotation that we created. Of course, at this point I can click down and I can get to the item master data by clicking on this orange arrow, and as I said, item master data will open up and we can see all of the information that are inputted for this: the purchasing data, the sales data, inventory data, planning data, etc. So again, just another nice feature in SAP Business One, showing you the relationships between the various documents, between the sales quotation, the sales order, and the AR invoice, with the ability to drill down to that source document and drill around at that point in time. I've also got the ability, if I press Ctrl L, to have a lot of other informations associated with that particular invoice, as well as we can see a number of different fields giving me additional informations associated with the unit price, discounts, price after discounts, numerous different fields giving me additional informations, so warehouses, sales employees, projects, etc. Inside SAP Business One, as we can see, there are a lot of informations that I can use. Now let's go back to the original menu and let's look at our module once again. We've demonstrated the ability to do a quotation, an order, and an AR invoice. Of course, As an in-between step, I could have also put through a delivery with the required delivery documentation as well. So let's have a brief look now at sales reports, a nice feature in SAP Business One which goes through every module. So every module has its own reports, so it's easier to access specific reports. If I want to look, for example, at all of the open sales quotations, I will simply go into sales reports and head over to the open items lists. In the document selection, I'm going to select sales quotations, and here I can see the list of all of my open sales quotations with their due date, the reference number, the customer name, the amounts, etc. If I want to have a look at all my open sales orders, I can do so as well. I can also do invoices. I can do any type of document from the open items list. It's pretty easy to move around and get access to the information I want. I can simply double click on any of these rows or simply click on the document number and it will open up the document so I can see more in detail what's the status of this document. I've of course got my sales analysis, which could be my analysis by customer. It can be analysis by items or by sales employee. I have a number of different fields that allow me to filter more in depth my documents and my analysis reports. So in this case, I'm going to do annual report by invoices for customers. Simply click on OK, and I'm going to get an analysis by an annual analysis by customer. So how many invoices did the customers receive? What's the total that was invoiced? Our gross profit in percentages, and the total open amount. I've also got documents draft reports. So documents draft reports are pretty useful if, for example, I have a situation where I'm creating a document, so let's say a quotation, and I need to leave my desk for an hour or so. I can save that as a document draft to come back later and continue working on the quotation. I can also copy the quotation from an old quotation or an old sales order. I can duplicate an old one just to save time. I can look back at my order reports, monthly customer status reports, sales analysis by items, and these can be embedded with crystal reports as well, and of course my back order analysis. So what we've seen in today's presentation is a brief overview of the sales module in SAP Business One and an overview of creating the documents throughout the sales process. We had a brief look at some of the sales reporting inside SAP Business One. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.